The rule hidden in plain sight. Most Americans believe money problems are solved by earning more. That belief is reinforced everywhere: school, media, even casual conversations. Work harder, get promoted, add a side hustle. The idea sounds logical, almost responsible. Yet, despite decades of effort, most people feel stuck in the same financial position, just with bigger numbers moving in and out. More income, more expenses, more pressure. Something doesn't add up. What rarely gets questioned is the system itself. Not the economy in a political sense, but the everyday rules that quietly shape how money behaves. These rules aren't secret, and they aren't illegal. They exist in tax codes, incentives, defaults, and habits that most people never pause to examine. Because they're boring. Because they don't look like opportunity. Because they don't announce themselves as a hack. The frustration starts when you notice the gap between effort and outcome. Two people can work equally hard, earn similar salaries, and make wildly different progress over time. One feels constantly behind, the other feels strangely stable, even relaxed. The difference isn't intelligence or discipline. It's alignment with rules that reward certain behaviors disproportionately. Most Americans are trained to think in terms of income, not structure. Paychecks feel real. Systems feel abstract. So attention stays locked on wages, budgets, and short-term fixes. That focus hides something important. Money responds more to positioning than to effort. Where you place money, how it flows, and how it's classified often matter more than how much you earn. This is uncomfortable because it challenges a deeply held moral idea that hard work should automatically lead to financial security. When that doesn't happen, people internalize the failure. They blame spending habits, motivation, or self-control. Rarely do they question whether they're playing the right game at all. The rule hidden in plain sight is that the system rewards predictability and structure, not intensity. It favors behaviors that reduce friction and exploit incentives already built into it. Most people never look for these because they don't feel empowering. They feel procedural, almost boring. But boring is exactly what makes them durable. Consider how many financial decisions are automated by default. Taxes withheld. Retirement contributions set once and forgotten. Insurance premiums deducted quietly. These defaults shape outcomes more reliably than bursts of motivation ever could. The system assumes people won't pay attention, and it's usually right. That assumption creates opportunities for those who do. The reason this feels like a hack is because it contradicts common advice. Instead of doing more, it asks you to do differently. Instead of chasing growth, it asks you to optimize flow. Instead of reacting to money, it asks you to position it intentionally within existing rules. Most people scroll past this idea because it doesn't promise excitement. There's no dramatic before and after, no viral screenshot, just a slow realization that the game isn't about winning big, it's about not bleeding quietly over time. That realization is unsettling because it implies past effort may have been misdirected. What's hiding in plain sight isn't a loophole, it's a pattern. A pattern where small, rule-aligned decisions outperform heroic effort applied in the wrong direction. Once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. In how wealth accumulates quietly, in how stress decreases without obvious lifestyle changes, in how stability emerges without dramatic sacrifice. This isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about understanding why most Americans, despite working hard and doing the right things, never feel ahead. The rule has always been there. The system has always rewarded those who understand it. The only mystery is why so few people stop long enough to notice. And once you do notice, it becomes difficult to unsee how much progress has less to do with effort and far more to do with alignment. The uncomfortable truth is that intelligence offers very little protection in a system designed around habits and defaults. Many of the people who struggle financially are not careless, lazy, or uninformed. They are organized, responsible, and diligent. They pay bills on time, avoid obvious mistakes, and try to make sensible decisions. Yet, those traits alone rarely translate into momentum. That gap creates confusion because it contradicts what people were taught to expect. One reason smart people miss this is education itself. Formal education emphasizes effort, credentials, and linear progression. Study hard, get a good job, climb steadily. That framework works well for building skills, but it quietly conditions people to focus on income as the primary lever. Very little attention is given to how money behaves once it's earned. The mechanics of incentives, classifications, and compounding are treated as advanced or optional when they are actually foundational. Another factor is social proof. People calibrate their behavior based on what feels normal. If everyone around you budgets, worries, and stresses in similar ways, that state begins to feel inevitable. Even when someone senses that something is off, they're often reassured by the fact that they're doing what everyone does. That reassurance is dangerous. Systems don't reward conformity. They reward alignment with their internal logic. Media reinforces this blindness. Financial stories tend to spotlight extremes: massive success or catastrophic failure. Quiet stability doesn't make headlines. A person who steadily improves their position by understanding incentives is invisible. There's no drama, no narrative arc. Without visible examples, people assume such outcomes don't exist or aren't worth pursuing. There's also a psychological barrier. Structural thinking feels impersonal. It lacks the emotional satisfaction of self-improvement narratives. Many people would rather believe their situation is temporary and will be fixed by trying harder than accept that they need to rethink how they interact with the system. Reframing feels like admitting past effort was inefficient, and that can trigger defensiveness. Another reason this gets missed is delayed feedback. Income responds quickly to effort. Work more hours, earn more pay. Structural advantages respond slowly. Tax efficiency, optimized flows, and incentive alignment don't create immediate excitement. The benefits show up quietly, often months or years later. In a culture conditioned for instant feedback, slow signals are ignored or discounted. Fear also plays a role. Anything framed as a hack is assumed to be risky or unethical. People avoid exploring it because they don't want to cross invisible lines. Ironically, the most impactful advantages are often the most conservative. They involve understanding rules, not breaking them. But because they aren't widely discussed, they feel suspicious by default. Smart people also tend to overcomplicate. Once they sense there's more beneath the surface, they go searching for complexity. They read, research, compare, and plan endlessly. In doing so, they miss that the system often rewards a few simple adjustments executed consistently. Complexity feels productive, but it often delays action indefinitely. Perhaps the biggest reason is identity. Many people unconsciously tie their self-worth to effort. If progress comes from structure instead, it threatens that identity. It suggests that working harder isn't always noble, and that efficiency can matter more than endurance. Letting go of that belief is difficult, especially for those who pride themselves on discipline. What keeps this invisible is not a lack of access to information, but a mismatch between what feels virtuous and what actually works. The system doesn't care how responsible, educated, or motivated someone is. It responds to positioning, timing, and flow. Those factors don't announce themselves, and they don't flatter the ego. That's why smart people often stay stuck longer than they should. Not because they can't understand the rules, but because the rules don't match the story they were taught to believe. And until that story is questioned, the opportunity remains hidden in plain sight, quietly rewarding those who look past effort and toward structure. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that gets everyone excited: money hacks. But hold on. Before you click away thinking this is another skip your latte lecture, let me stop you right there. We're not talking about small fry savings today. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how you see and handle your money. A powerful strategy that can genuinely fast-track your financial goals. I call it the money hack, but it's really about building a smart, automated system that works for you, not against you. Ready to make your money work harder than you do? Let's get into it. So, what is this big secret? It's a simple, three-part system. Automate, allocate, and accelerate. That's it. No complicated spreadsheets, no day trading, no risky bets. The beauty of this method is its simplicity and its power. It's designed to take the emotion and the daily decision-making out of your finances. Why? Because emotions and daily decisions are where we often mess up. We see something shiny, we feel a little down, and boom, the budget is out the window. This system creates a fortress around your financial goals, making them the default, not an afterthought. Let's break down the first step. Automate. This is the absolute cornerstone of the entire hack. The goal here is to put your savings and investments on autopilot. The first thing you need to do is set up an automatic transfer from your main checking account, the one your paycheck goes into, to a separate, dedicated savings account. And here's the crucial part. Schedule this transfer to happen the very same day you get paid, or the day after, at the latest. This is what we call paying yourself first. Before you pay your bills, before you buy groceries, before you even think about what you want to spend your money on. A portion of it is already whisked away, working towards your future. You're not saving what's left after spending. You're spending what's left after saving. It's a game-changing mindset shift. How much should you transfer? A common starting point is the 50-30-20th rule. That means 50% of your after-tax income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. If 20% feels like too much right now, don't sweat it. Start with 5%, or even 1%. The most important thing is to start. Create the habit. You can, and should, increase the percentage over time as you get more comfortable or as your income grows. The key is that it's automatic. You set it up once, and the system does the work. You'll be surprised how quickly you adapt to living on the slightly smaller amount left in your checking account. Out of sight, out of mind. Now for the second step. Allocate. So, you've got this money automatically flowing into a savings account. What now? Just letting it sit there isn't the most effective strategy, especially with inflation. This is where we get smart about giving every dollar a job. Your automated savings shouldn't just go into one big pile. We need to divide and conquer. Think of it like creating different buckets for different goals. Your first and most important bucket should be your emergency fund. This is your financial safety net. The goal is to have 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses saved up. This money is for true emergencies. Only a job loss, a medical issue, an urgent home repair. It's not for a last-minute vacation. Keep this in a high-yield savings account where it's easily accessible but not ** to